Hello and welcome to another C3 Stingray video. Today we're going to take the fog light housing out of a C4 Corvette. You'd think taking a fog light housing out would be pretty easy. Just crawl underneath, take a couple screws out and pull it out. Now you have to take off the whole bumper cover. So it's kind of a two-part video. Learn how to take off a front bumper cover and how to get this fog light housing out. So I'm actually not doing this car, I'm doing another car. I'm not touching this thing. All right, let's do it. Now this is a 1989 Corvette. It is a parts car, so there's a lot of pieces missing on this, but everything for the front bumper's there except for the inner fender on the right hand side, but the left hand side inner fender is there and it's identical on both sides, so you're not missing any information. You have to do the same thing on both sides. We'll start out by removing the light bulbs out of the side lights. You just simply twist and pull them out. That bigger one you have to squeeze and twist. This one you have to squeeze that one and twist to get it out. Next we're going to take these screws off this front inner fender. They're T30 Torx screws. There's 4 of them along the side here. And there's 2 more right here that need to come out as well. There are also T30 Torx. That's probably the hardest part of the whole thing is there's 10mm screws. There's 12 of them all the way down the front of the car. And if you have your hood on, you don't have a limited amount of space to get in there to get that because they're sitting inside of a retaining bracket that has a lip on it. So you can see there's a lip right there and it makes it next to impossible to get there's not enough room to get a socket in there. There's not with that lip you can't get a ratchet wrench in there and lay it flat. You might be able to get an open end on there, but it's really difficult. I tried, I was having a lot of issues, so I went and got myself some offset wrenches. These are 45-degree offset wrenches, which most offset wrenches are 75 degree and they're not going to fit. This 45 degree is just slight enough where you can get in there and lay it flat on the screw and break it loose. So what I did is I'm working my way down the bumper with that offset wrench and I'm loosening it enough to where the head of the screw is past the edge of that bracket. And once I get it past the edge of that bracket, I take my ratchet wrench and take them the rest of the way out. This seemed to work the best. I mean, if you're wanting to leave your hood on, if you took your hood off, this would be a piece of cake, but you know, who wants to take their hood off and then realign it and get it all set back on there again? It'd be easier to buy yourself an offset wrench. These wrenches cost me $25. And that was for a whole set, and I didn't need a whole set. I only needed a 10mm, but it was like $11 for one wrench, so I thought, screw it, I'll just buy them all. I got them on Amazon. And there's one of the screws there. Right now I'm using the ratchet wrench. I loosened up the first half of this. I'm using the ratchet wrench and going down and taking them completely out. I'm going to move to the second half of the bumper here, and once again I have the offset wrench. And like I said, I just put it on there and loosen it up enough where the head just is past the edge of that retaining bracket lip where you can get your ratchet wrench or your normal ratchet wrench on the head of that bolt, and then it's easy to get them out then. This seems to work really well. I mean, if you have a nice car, you're going to have to be careful not to bump anything, but you could do it without any damage with this method. And as I said, there's 12 of them, so. And here I have the retaining bracket off, and I'm taking it out now. This is really a really easy way to do this. Now we need to take off this bottom part of the inner fender. There are 4 T30 screws here holding this retainer bracket on that retains. It goes into that inner fender and through the bumper, and also holds that spoiler, that air dam spoiler. Now the problem here is you can see I'm spinning that. Well, the nut on the inside of that is also spinning, so now you're going to get a 10mm in there, and this vacuum ball, this vacuum reservoir is in the way, so I got two 10mm screws here that I need to take out to move that vacuum ball out of my way so I can get to those nuts a little easier. Just simply take those two 10mm screws out. Now you can move the ball out of your way and you'll be able to get that 10mm wrench in there to hold the nut while you unscrew that. See, I'm using my offset. I guess I just wanted to use it a little more and get some more use out of it. And now I can sit on, kind of squat down, and you hold the wrench and put your impact or your ratchet underneath and take the screw out. And as you can see, the whole spoiler and the screw came out. But wait, there are two more 7mm screws there that need to come out. Once you get that bracket off, now you're going to have to take those 7mm screws out. Now you're going to have to do this on both sides. I'm only showing the left side, but you're going to have to work both sides. Now let's go underneath the car. Now we have more 7mm. There's one there on that little skid bar. There's four on the bumper underneath. It's on that lip right underneath there. And then there's one more on the other skid bar. So now we got to take all 6 of those out. These are all 7mm. I'm just using my ratchet because it's about the only thing I can fit in there. Now I'm on the right side taking those off. Remember, everything I'm showing you have to do on both sides. I didn't show the right side inner fender, but you're going to have to do that on the right side as well as the left, obviously. Okay, now I'm taking the wiring off that bumper. There's just little clips you can pop open and pull the wiring out, and there are a couple push pins, that you're going to have to pry out, because otherwise when you take the bumper off, all this stuff's going to hold on and you're not going to be able to get that bumper out. And now I'm on the left hand side doing the same thing. All this stuff is reusable. These pop right open and the pins just kind of push out. And you probably have to unplug a couple things too. Now you got to work the top lip over the edge. You'll see when you're doing it, you just need to work that over the edge where you can break it loose. So you're getting that top of the bumper cover over the edge of the car. And once you get it off, then you'll see once you pop it, suddenly it just falls right down, because it's going to go down once you get out that lip off of there. And the bumper cover is now off. And you can see the fog lights are still in. It's crazy you have to take this bumper cover off to get those fog light housings out of there. I mean, it's crazy design, but so far it's so good. It hasn't been too rough. So here we gotta take this out. There's two 10mm bolts or screws that hold this fog light in, and that's it. You went through all this trouble just to get these two screws out of there, but unfortunately you can't get it out without taking that bumper cover off, because it will not come off. Even if you get those screws out, it still wouldn't come out of there. Now what I should have done was taken the lights out. There's two lights that you're gonna have to take out. There's this orange bulb on the outer side, and then there's actual fog light on the inside that you need to take out. Probably should take those out before you take the bolts out. That's what I'll do on the other side, but this side, for some reason, I get ahead of myself. But that just, once again, twist and pull out the bulb. Now the fog light's a little bit more of a pain. You gotta reach in there and twist the end of it to get that bulb out, which you can see it's really long. It goes in there a long ways. But then you also have to take out that little cone that bulb was in. That part there will unscrew also, and you have to take that off to get that fog light out of there. The fog light assembly out of there. You simply twist and it will just unscrew out of there. And there you can see it. Now you just kind of gotta work your way towards the outside of the car, move it out. Now I kind of manhandled this when you heard that noise, and yes, I just broke this. There's metal screwed into plastic. I broke it. If you're replacing this, yours is probably broken already, so you're not really going to care. With me, I take these parts off and resell them, and that one just got broken. So you got to really be careful. I should have been more careful with that. I kind of manhandled it and just yanked it out of there, and it snapped. So I'm going to be more careful on this side. But on this side, we have another issue. We have the vapor canisters in the way. It's in the way of the two 10mm screws we need to take out. So I took the 10mm screw out of the bracket of this so I can open this bracket up and slide the canister back so I can get to those 10mm screws that I need to take out for the fog light. See, as I pushed it back, so now I can get to those two 10mm there. So this time I'm taking the lights out before I take the screws out. So I took that outside light out, and now I'm taking the inside, and that little cone that screws in there has to come out. So the light's out. Now I just got to take this piece out. Screws right out. Sometimes they're tough to get out. Sometimes you might have to put some channel locks or something to get a hold of that and kind of break it loose. So these are the two 10mm screws, and we're almost done. This is the last of it. And get this fog light out. This time I'm going to be a little more careful and try to get it out in one piece instead of breaking it like I did the other one. Which kind of ticks me off a little bit. Now the screw didn't come out, but it's out of the fog light. I can feel it, it's loose, so the screw's kind of stuck in there for some reason. This time I'm putting my hand on the inside and kind of finessing it out instead of jerking it out like I did last time. Being a little more careful this time, trying not to break this one. Last time I kind of just pulled and jerked and it snapped right off. These things, I mean, that plastic, it's brittle. It's old. And there it came. Look at that, one piece. It's amazing. Nothing broke that time. And there's everything off. Fog light assemblies are now out of the car. And there's not being careful, and there's being careful. Well, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it helped you out some. If you want to see other how-to videos, check out all my videos on my YouTube channel. I have a lot on C3, C4, and C5 Corvettes. So check them out, and please subscribe. I'm trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, and I'm getting really close. So thanks to everyone that subscribed so far, and hopefully you can too. And if you need any used C3, C4, or C5 Corvette parts, new and used, check out my website at c3stingray.com. Got a lot of stuff going on. More videos coming, and I guess that's it for now. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the road.